Let's talk about the Deputy Labour leadership battle, and it's already looking pretty nasty. Loads and loads of people in the Labour Party now actively, at least off the record, saying we hate Keir. Everybody hates Keir, including me. So they're lining up to try and, as I said in my monologue, diplomatically screw Keir up. They actually used an F word instead of that. Keir up. And this includes Emily Thornberry, who probably will attack him from the right, as it were. She, of course, is on a bitter ticket because he didn't appoint her to his government. But also, incredibly, former Transport Secretary, that well-known convicted fraudster, Louise Haigh, also fancies her chances and may well make it. If there's enough left-wingers, she's very left-wing, she'll get the vote. There's also talk Richard Bergen may get involved. They want the Labour ranks that want to stick one on Keir and say, we've got our deputy, you're not getting yours. He apparently wanted Shabana Mahmood to do it. She told him this morning, no thanks, I've got too much on my plate. Incidentally, by the way, another pop fact, in this reshuffle, you know, the moving the deck chairs around the deck of the Titanic, I mean, literally, what kind of reshuffle is that? Right, I'm going to take someone off Home Secretary, I'm going to make them Foreign Secretary, going to give that job to them and that job to them. I mean, it was ridiculous. But one of the things he wanted to do was to bow to public demand and get rid of Ed Miliband. He wanted to move him from net zero, from energy, but Ed refused, apparently. So he's had two refusals. Shabana Mahmood's told him she won't be Deputy Labour leader, and Ed Miliband refused to be moved from net zero secretary, proving on two counts that this Prime Minister is very, very weak. But the deputy leadership of the Labour Party battle will be very painful for Keir. I mean, it doesn't really amount to a hill of beans for most people in the country, but in Westminster and in terms of political power, he's going to get a kicking, I think.
Well, I mean, I am sort of grimly fascinated by this, because the cast of characters that appear to be preparing to throw their hat into the ring are all from one wing of the party, it seems to me. You know, all different shades of scarlet red, absolute hard lefties. And this actually symbolises a political disaster for Keir Starmer. The only way that he can begin to try to sort of stem the flow of support towards reform is actually moving in the opposite direction. Now, he may hope that if he gets a very hard lefty deputy, that may actually stop any hemorrhaging of his own party towards Jeremy Corbyn's new outfit. And maybe there's a little bit of an argument for that. But the real concern that we all have as patriots is what the heck this means for our country if Labour just moves ever further to the left. And I fear it means terrible things. I fear it means we're heading to a more dangerous, angrier, less pleasant land. And we've got 4 years of it, folks, before we can put it right.
Exactly right. But also this looming Deputy Labour leadership battle and the news that he tried to move Ed Miliband and Ed Miliband just said, no, I'm not moving. So he didn't. And the fact that Shabana Mahmood said, I'm not standing as Deputy Labour leader, can't be bothered, to be honest with you. And Keir Starmer just said, oh, all right then. I mean, he is just woefully weak as a leader, isn't he? No authority whatsoever.
Well, I was struck by that piece of comment that I think you've drawn from for this discussion, as you were, by Dan Hodges, you know, saying 90% of the parliamentary party, and I quote, hates Keir Starmer. I mean, no wonder, because he's driving them towards the electoral precipice, and he's just so utterly dead-eyed and soulless and robotic that whatever he does, I can't imagine there's any hope whatsoever of him reconnecting with the British people. And I have never known a Prime Minister, however unpopular, be the subject of the kind of lewd mantras that people sing about Keir Starmer. I'm not going to, of course,
please don't.
There. But we all know what this phrase is that you see and hear everywhere, and has become a kind of national sport. You know, people singing that at, whether it's at football matches or any other gathering. Prime ministers can become hated. You know, they can become a source of anger. But I've never seen anything quite like this, the derision and just the utter contempt in which he's held by so many voters. And yet he's too weak to confront someone like Ed Miliband, who's bizarrely popular amongst his colleagues, and yet he will stay in post, I believe, for a fair bit longer, because there is not the mechanism in the Labour Party really to oust him if he chooses to dig in his heels, which he evidently will do.
Exactly right. I mean, it really is an indication of just how weak this guy is, that cabinet ministers are just kicking him around and telling them what they want to do. And, you know, I mean, why didn't he say to David Lammy, you've been a disaster as Foreign Secretary, I'm sacking you? Why is it? Why, I mean, by all means, move him to some other sinecure or something. But what, you know, why? Oh well, we had to buy him off with the deputy prime ministership. You know, we had to keep him happy. Why? Don't worry about keeping him happy. You're the prime minister. Do your job properly. It is a big, big problem. We're going to talk about Keir Starmer's innate weakness next as well, because Angela Rayner's departure has left him with a really serious problem. She, of course, is the architect of that horrific disaster, the Workers' Rights Bill, which now Keir Starmer is being told, now that she's gone, the unions are saying, you better not touch that. This was the bill that, OK, this did get taken out. But it's so absurd that Angela proposed things like bosses are not allowed to talk to their employees after 6 p.m. They're not allowed to email their employees outside of office hours. You know, not taking into account that many people have office hours that might be 3 in the morning or, you know, 2 in the morning, whatever. But it was full of this nonsense, still is full of this nonsense. So bosses are saying, well, now that she's gone, Keir, for God's sake, cut us some slack. You know, we can't run our businesses like this with this Workers' Rights Bill. So Keir Starmer goes, oh, I'll certainly look into it. The unions, at the same time, are now saying, you touch a word of the Workers' Rights Bill and we will strike. We will strike you down. So Keir Starmer is once again between a rock and a hard place. He's in big trouble on that.